Hey guys, so I'm going to be kicking off Doctor Who November or Whovember with my review of Torchwood, Children of Earth. So, this season of Torchwood, I hold was like everybody saying this is the best season of the show, but man, you could not have prepared me for how amazing this was. Holy shit. I was shocked. I was, it was intense. Made me start sobbing. Just kidding. Um, when we feel all these emotions, whole dread, you know, excitement, hazard, everything. I do like how it was only 5 episodes because I feel like if you drew it out too much, it wouldn't have maintained its intensity. A lot of the season was written by Russell T Davies, and it's it's very good. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. He's able to like make this so much adult than the first two seasons, not in a way where it's like, ooh, we could show sex and we could say the word fuck. It's not like that. It's like truly an adult mature show. Well, I feel like season one of Torchwood was kind of the opposite. But yeah, this was amazing. So let me just get started. The 456 are probably one of the most terrifying, eerie villains in Doctor Who, because we never find out exactly what they look like. It's mostly just the blurry, we see them blurry through the blue screen. Um, but the it's I don't know the fact that like they're using children as part of the plan kind of makes how menacing they are even more so, because children are generally viewed as innocent and not corrupted by society yet. So for them to be able to take control of them and have them start chanting is like nightmare fuel, really. So they've actually been old before in 1965, and Jack helped them get a couple children because they'd give him the cure for this virus before it started spreading. But that time it was only 12 children. Now they want 10% of the world's children's population. So this government man named John Frobisher, played by the brilliant Peter Capaldi. I love Peter Capaldi in this. He tries to kill Jack and the rest of the Torchwood team. So the hub gets blown up in the first episode. This big location the entire series has been set in, blown up because they put a bomb inside of Jack, and nothing could kill Jack because Rose Tyler, while she was possessed by the bad wolf spirit, gave him immortal life, which is mostly a curse. It's not really a blessing. And the season really punctures that home. So he, even though he's just a bag of dismembered body parts, they're able to go back together. So he like has to regrow his skin back, and that is terrifying. I don't know why. I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but people either losing their skin or just not having skin really creeps me out. That's like one of my biggest fears. So that was a really creepy scene. I like how the season builds suspense. It doesn't show its cards too early. Most of episodes 1 and 2 build up a lot of stuff without really answering things, while episode 3 and the later episodes reveal most of the plot line without ever loosening the tension. But John Frobisher is a really, really well developed character despite only being in these 5 episodes. And it shows how good of an actor Peter Capaldi is, because very different character from Malcolm Tucker, very different character from the Doctor, very different character from whoever he was in that Pompeii episode. And we're also joined by a bunch of other new characters. Like there's this lady named Lois, who is his like secretary or assistant or something, and she senses something's up, something's going wrong. So she reaches out to Torchwood, and they give her these special contact lenses, which let her record the John Phobos's meetings with the 456. Um, so Torchwood could kind of know what's going on. We also get to see more into the personal lives of Jack and Yanto. So Jack and Yanto are dating now, and it's kind of a really sweet relationship. But I feel like the whole time Jack's thinking like I can't get too attached because I outlive everybody around him, and you know he's right about that, kind of. So we see Yanto's sister and brother-in-law and their kids, and I like that because it shows Yanto's, like life outside of work, which I feel like we should have seen in the early episodes, like seasons 1 and 2, because I feel like that would have made the reactions to his death much more poignant. The same thing with Jack and his daughter and grandson. If we knew those guys the entire season, his grandson dying would have hit a lot more than it already did, and it already did hit a lot. To that later. So, 456 reveal that they want to take 10% of the children of Earth to use their like chemicals to give them drugs and stuff. They get off on their like prepubescent chemicals or whatever. Um, and this leads to like one of the most kind of like interesting um, philosophical debates in the entire universe. So the 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 government is sitting around, mostly just the UK government. I don't. The other governments just kind of disappear at this point in the show. So they're all talking about like, okay, which 10% do we have to get rid of? They're like, we have to get rid of the 10% most unintelligent kids, which is like, ooh, it's kind of messed up. And then like the 10% poorest children, or the second child, or all the homeless children, stuff like that. It's a very crazy scene right there, and it's very well written, because everybody's kind of like, well, as long as it's not my kids. Um, which kind of shows a little bit of hypocrisy, though. It's just a very interesting scene, something you'd see out of like the Twilight Zone, some sort of like philosophical debate, like a trolley problem or something. But I thought that was very well done, very intense the entire way through. So, in episode 4, later in episode 4, Jack and Yanto storm into Torchwood, and and Lois is like, I've been recording you guys the entire time for Torchwood, and the music swells up. Jack and Yanto enter the building. They start confronting the 456, and you think like, oh shit, this is when they're gonna win. They found a way to win. But then you remember, wait a minute, we still have another episode left. Oh fuck! Like I love when shows like that. I love when shows do things like that. So Jack and Yanto are like, fuck you, 456. Humanity will fight to save these children. And the 456 was like, really? Well, I'm gonna kill everybody in this building. And so it releases this toxic gas which kills the entire building, as well as Yanto, unfortunately, which I was very sad about because I liked Yanto a lot. I love the way that he developed him. They developed him in season 3 a lot too, um, especially with his family, like I said. So the show always does this. They get me attached to these characters and then kill them off. I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, Tosh and Owen and now Yanto. My dad was watching it, like, they're like, oh, they'll find an antidote. They can't kill off 3 main characters of the show. Nope. The show doesn't give a fuck. Yanto's dead. And it was the most tragic scene ever. And because he's dying, and he tells Jack, like, you won't even remember me because you live forever. Jack's saying, like, yes, he will. He will remember him. It's just a very tragic scene. Rest in peace, Yanto. You're a real one, and you deserved much better than what you got. So, at this point, I'm like, wow, that was heavy. But at least it can't get any worse, right? Well, I was wrong. I was so wrong. So the next episode, the stupid prime minister, who's been making nothing but bad decisions this entire series, kind of like a real government, he tells John Frobisher, so listen, man, you're gonna have to have your children be taken so it doesn't make us look bad. And out of all John Frobisher's done this entire season, that's what he gets. What a sick joke, this chicanery. Um, so Malcolm decides that it's better that his children die than to be their like drug slaves. So he comes home, shoots his kids, shoots his wife for some reason, and then shoots himself out of guilt. I don't know why he had to kill his wife. That didn't really make much sense. But yeah, that was a tragic scene, and it's so sad because if he waited just a few more minutes, it could have. He didn't even have to do it. which is like this really ironic sadness. So I was like, holy shit, they just killed off two girls, two little girls. How could this get any worse? Well, they're like, the show's like, fuck you, it's gonna get even worse. So Jack finds out that the only way to stop the 456 is by having one of the little kids, some little kid, like echo the frequency back at them, which would override their hearing or whatever and make them explode. Turns out the only kid nearby is Jack's own grandson. So he like gets he just gets microwaved to death. His brain gets all like gooey and explodes. So like holy shit, they violently, graphically killed this little boy on television. Most shows don't go that far unless you're like Game of Thrones, or Breaking Bad, I guess. Um, so yeah, that was awful. That was hard to watch. Um, Jack makes the decision to save 10% of children versus one life. It's like the whole Star Trek debate. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Um, but yeah, so obviously Jack's daughter wants nothing to do with him because he killed her son. Which, makes sense, but it's really hard to think about. Like, did he do the right thing or not? And I don't know if I'm in the right place to say that. So I don't know, but his relationship with her is ruined forever. His boyfriend Yanto is dead. All he has left is Gren and Reese. Torchwood's been destroyed. It's a very dreary end for the series. So while Gwen is pregnant anyway, and probably can't come back to Torchwood for a while, Jack is just overwhelmed with guilt and remorse and just depression. Honestly, I don't blame him. He decides to leave Earth and start traveling the stars, and that was where the season ends. And her saying goodbye to him is very sad too. I gotta say, the acting in this season is incredible, and like the characters are as likable as ever. Like I wasn't a huge fan of Gwen back in season one. Season two, she started to grow on me, and season three, she's amazing. One of Gwen's best scenes is when she's recording a message that says like she used to wonder where the doctor was, and sometimes she thinks sometimes he doesn't come, and he turns his back on us in shame. That was such a good moment. One of my favorite scenes in the entire series, honestly. Um, it's just so heartbreaking that she thinks that. And yeah, I don't know. Gwen has come a long way from season one. Um, yeah, she is great. John Barrowman's great. Like he's a great actor. I don't know. I was really impressed by his performance. The Jack Harkness we get in this is completely different from the Jack Harkness we get in Doctor Who. In Doctor Who, he's a lot more like two dimensional, I guess. While in this one, he gets to feel some feelings more. And of course, Yanto did great, as little as we had of him. Rest in peace again. So yeah, Children of Earth might be Russell T Davies' best entry into the Doctor Who universe. I don't know. I'm not saying that for certain, but I loved it. Definitely the best Torchwood story. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty heavy though. Might be a while till I want to rewatch it. So let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of Children of Earth. Um, Probably won't be talking about Miracle Day for at least a year. I have to watch all this other stuff on my list before then. But this month I will be talking about a lot of stuff in the Doctor Who universe, including a review of every episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures Season 3, David Tennant's last few specials as the 10th Doctor, The Waters of Mars and The End of Time. And then I will be ranking every single 10th Doctor episode into a tier list. And of course, I'll be talking about the 60th anniversary specials when those come out on the 25th, as well as a surprise secret video that will be premiering on November 23rd. So stay tuned for that. All of it's Doctor Who related. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace.